Everyone? We're playing, we're watching the final between the two best teams of regional tournament number 6. Rook6431 and GDII will be playing the red-yellow, and MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner18 will play the blue-green. And upon special request, all 4 players and myself have approved this match to be rated. I suspect probably they're going to go for another game after this match is over, even if it does end in a way that is sudden. Who knows? We'll watch this game, and all this so far is theory. We got this queen out to hit the check here. This queen right here, yeah, this queen goes here to h13, also point towards h3, and blue queen will be going to b7. So interesting. Rook6431 decides to go for knight k3, which is completely different. I would have preferred queen to h2, as it puts a queen in a better position than g1 and automatically stops the threat of queen takes g2, queen to h3 mate. So now yellow stops the mate happening on h13 and g12, but now Roadrunner can hit the knight, and there's a loss of a knight there if we're not careful. Ooh, I'm connecting here, which means I may have to just refresh here. And we see that a knight might be lost here and an open file for the rook. This is winning for blue and green. Although I think, yeah, I think yellow has queen h11, which would be interesting. Queen h11, you give up the queen, and you also expose yellow. However, I think that's the one best move here, as it prevents the red from losing a knight here and opening the file for the green rook. Queen takes queen, of course. I would prefer blue going knight to d11 over the other move that he pointed out. And yeah, red's going to have to move the knight somewhere. This would be an interesting place to put it. On I4, you have 6 spectators. So hello to the 6 spectators here. Don't think you can see them on my screen because I cut off the chat. Those were 2. He was considering k8 as well as knight to l6. No music because for some reason Spotify is not is lying about the internet. Yeah, I would have personally preferred knight d11, but maybe the knight was going to get attacked from somewhere. Red was not quite developed enough to be able to do that, though. But interesting move, d10. Yellow's looking at attacking the blue queen, but I think bishop takes e13 is coming. And bishop f12. So no time for knight to i12. Welcome, J Crossover 00. You're just now watching Jerry, an interested spectator, as he has qualified in one of the previous tournaments. Yeah, actually, k5 would be okay because after bishop takes, you got bishop takes. Yeah, actually, and bishop takes, knight takes. There would be no take on the rook on n4. So does Malbury want the bishop here, or does he want the rook? Because if he takes the rook, then he puts the bishop on d14, giving yellow some swindle potential, as I've noted that many times when the bishop's in the corner, people miss key dark square blunders. Usually a rook hanging or something, but that bishop could become dangerous at some point. And even top players miss that from both sides. Yeah, but I still think that, yeah, blue and green are in a huge winning position here. Yellow's exposed and undeveloped. He's got all of his pieces on the back rank. Rook's queen may mitigate the action here, but I think that yellow is probably exposed a little too much here. And I don't really see compensation just yet. Although I think red can come towards his d6 square, threatening a6. And I think, yeah, yellow's going to have to move the knight to f12, which will be protected by that d14 bishop. And will attack the queen. I think that knight f12 is okay here. Red can move the queen to the file. I think knight f12. Yeah, I think knight f12 was better than knight k13. Or knight g13. Sorry. And whoa. Roadrunner goes for knight takes on k4, which means that his king's exposed. It is quite standard for red in that case to be sacrificing the rook for the knight. I do like this idea, as it actually forces an attack on blue. His queen is going to be exposed here. Taking the knight is actually a good move here by green, I think, because it stops the attack. Yeah, I think you take the knight to stop j13, and at least get a piece back if he does go to j13. What does rook want to do? I think it would be best if rook decides to he can hit the queen. I think hitting the queen is probably best here. So yeah, 2 rooks for a bishop and a knight. But I think we're seeing some counterattack here. And this is tricky business. Yeah, I don't know if I really like the knight on g13. I think the red queen could have maybe taken some time to get on the g file to stop blue from getting the queen there. But in this case, they're going for some material, easy material. Now it's not so easy because you got a threaded checkmate, which is actually quite strong. Yeah, you gotta get a knight there to defend g13. And now, if you're red, you hate that queen is there here, as the knight cannot go here. Taking here is actually a good move, as it threatens the bishop. Yeah, you definitely want to take d6 now. You're threatening the bishop, and you're also threatening taking on d6 or a6. It doesn't matter that green's rook is about to get open, although that could be a possible problem in the future. Actually, knight b7, pawn takes pawn is good for blue-green. Knight b7 attacking the queen. Oh, then you get mated. Never mind. Knight b7 is bad here, so you want to go knight c6. And take, you push, I think. taking bishop and then threatening a check, maybe. Yeah. Take bishop, hit the queen, and then you get double checked. Never mind. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I think pawn takes pawn is good here. What do you do? You're in big trouble here. Recapturing, yeah. It looks unsafe here, but I think it was the only option really. GDI is really considering castling, yes. I think castling was probably bad. Oh, because then he gets exposed with double check. There was 2 checks right here. Red could not get his queen on the diagonal. There was 2 different ways he could have gone on the diagonal, and I think that double check could have worked there. Plus, it was winning that last rook. I think that was a missed win opportunity. Oh wait, okay, no, I take that back. I missed that the queen was hitting J12. Good defensive move by Rook, denying any checks like that, also defending that pawn, which is extremely weak. And you got G2 still being eyed on, and after bishop takes, knight takes with an attack on the rook. However, I think that pawn push on the queen is a little menacing here. And yeah, GDI can find a rook development move here. Taking on H3. Check, pawn push, never mind. So, yeah, you want to move the queen now. Queen, how do you defend though? Yeah. He's sending a check here, but then there's a queen here and a bishop check here. And yeah, I think this is just almost over for red. What's the point of rook here? To kind of go this way? That's a little too slow, I think. You gotta move the rook. Yeah. You have to go for some sort of try here. Yeah, I mean the rook is already active enough or on an open file. Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah, that's a threat right there. Looking for a discovered capture. Bishop takes. I think bishop I3 check was actually fine here. Bishop I2. Bishop I2 check was the intended move, but the rook moved here to E4, and I think that was quite the counterattack. Yeah, bishop check. Some bishop move could discover a threat on the bishop on the I1. Going knight here is actually a good block against this stuff, and it's also attacking the king. Hold on though. Yeah, there's multiple pieces attacking that square. You could go bishop here, but you could also threaten just a plain checkmate. Yeah. Bishop here also covers that flight square from the king. Pawn pushed into becoming also bishop J1. And they're looking for a counterattack here. I don't see it because his bishop is kind of in the corner, and now green's about to... Oh, whoa, yeah, don't see again. That bishop on d14 is very tricky. And what do you do now? Do you move a... Okay, just considering bishop takes. Oh, that is very sneaky. You got to take back with either the pawn or the knight. Taking back with the knight gives this problem. And now you discover a check on green, and you actually do check green here, and you go for his queen. Take, and then oh, there's a check. Yeah, you had to go rook takes check here, but then you lose your last rook, and I think that was the only way they could have possibly saved the game here. But now you have a check here, and the queen is won. Or is that mate? That's just mate. Yeah, the only way you could have rescued this game is, well, yeah. The only way you could have rescued this game. And wow, plus 7.9, plus 6.7. GG. 18. Brick takes check. Okay, we're waiting another minute or two. Let's see if I can play some music or no. Not a huge fan of this. Let's view the rematch. Got standard Sicilian Huracan opening here. Yeah, and GDI realizes knight d3 is actually a good move here. If queen to b6 is a mistake, because bishop to h12 and you got some attack here. Oh wait, no, that leads to the trap. Okay, I take that back. Bishop h12 leads to queen takes I13 and queen takes. Did not realize that. It's actually one of those traps. So yeah, GDI moved his queen to m9. Now he has to move his queen out, I think. Otherwise, the bishop will come to g3. So you got to go queen to h4. I like playing bishop g3 here, but it kind of weakens the square. And you're kind of forced to trade queens after this one. So, interesting queen out move. You got queen takes f2 possibly, but that long term opens up a file for red rook. So blue does refuse that, as he also had this check threat on him. Roadrunner is going for knight out. He could have gone bishop here too, and that would have been interesting. Oh yeah, and that's a problem too. So now where does GDI put the queen? Does he trade it with trade it and develop red's knight here or not? We'll see. As the score is now 1-0, MalburySoapGoodSoap Roadrunner18. If Rook does push his pawn there, he actually is coverage. And knight takes, queen guards. Okay, that would be an interesting pileup. I just got called d4. Oh. Yeah, I did get called d4, and I know why. For anyone who doesn't know, I got a mouse slip one game. Instead of taking the queen on c4, I took on d4, or pushed to d4, and that cost me a whole queen. I ended up coming back and winning after putting my opponent in a mating net with only one side having pieces. It's a story for later, as we've got quite a big match going on. Any knight move that defended m9 was valid here for GDI. It would be biased of me to say that the two higher rated players are at an advantage here, which is not clear just yet, although we are seeing some movement here. Yeah, the knight can come out and hit the queen, and if he does hit the queen, oh no, he can't, because you got a check on m6. This is a real problem here for GDI. How do you solve this problem? Your knight's going to get taken. Just admit you're losing a knight and maybe block that pawn from ever moving again, and m6 won't be threatened by the yellow queen because the red pawn is in the way. So here we go. We're up a knight here as red-yellow. We got an open file for the rook. However, that might temporarily stop the attack on m6. And the blue queen will come out, and maybe the knight moves there. Yeah, there's a big threat on e13 now. How do you stop that? Maybe you move the rook here. Queen check and bishop block. Take, bishop take. Still, this thing exists. So yellow is just going to move the king over to stop all the check threats here. However, I think green can take the f13 pawn. He doesn't. Oh, what? Why doesn't he take f13? Maybe he's going for this bishop. So if red doesn't have a counterattack here, it might actually be a win for green. Blue. But being up a knight is no, doesn't mean the end of the world here. Yeah, yellow looks sort of exposed. I'm again surprised they didn't take on the maybe queen here. Queen here, trade the queens. Queen. You take and then you're actually delayed a move. You might get checked. Never mind that. That's bad. After take, you got knight here. Yeah. Bishop out. Looks good. Oh no, after this one you got a double check here. You don't have a double check, you got this and then knight takes. Queen take. Ooh, I like this one. Yeah, still queen f13. Ignoring the bishop, and then you throw your bishop in front to block the check by red. Red could sack a knight here. Ooh. Still bishop block. And then you got a check and a check, king over. You got to move the rook here. Rook f14. And after the, oh yeah, you got double check, but the king can move over. Oh, that looks bad. That looks terrible now that checkmate is a serious threat. Oh my gosh. What if GDI doesn't notice? Yeah, the king could just move over and it's just done. Yeah. He sees it now, there's that mate, and that's just GG. King over mate. And now it's 2-0. MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner18. Okay. I think taking on f13 was maybe better a move ago, but maybe the attack on green was just serious enough. I'm sure they'll rematch more after this. I'm quite sure they'll rematch more. But it is currently 2-0. MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner18. Team captain MalburySoapGoodSoap saying to change the opening as blue. Rook and GDI will know that, and maybe yeah. He's saying it gives them easy game. Maybe he's trying to get in their head, I don't know. In either case, this is a match to be watched, as two heavyweight teams are playing each other, all rated above 1900, and we're about to see some action here. So will this be the last game, or will there be more for the match to the automatic qualification for the World 4-Player Chess Championship? Let's see. MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner versus GDII and Rook6431. I don't see a rematch just yet, but it will come soon. Malbury left the queue. Where did he go? He's online. Let me make sure that I optimize for streaming here. I don't think that appeared any information restricted to the admins appeared on the recording, but I'm just gonna have this stuff turned off. I do want to see where Malbury is though. Oh, he's taking 2 minutes here. I'm going to take 2 minutes to see if I can I don't get it. Why this is not working? See if I could do it. Spotify application is not responding. Well, damn. Ah. So is Malbury going to come back and go for a rematch here? When will he come back? Find out soon. Oh, maybe my internet is messing up here because I didn't see the last updated messages. Okay. Okay, there we go. We got the rematch. And our last game, well, if Roadrunner and Malbury win here, they're going for C7. What a move. GDI is going to go for the Skywalker attack if Malbury allows it. Going Knight L9. Interesting decision. Knight L9, I think they're going to try to force the red queen to move twice, but that didn't work here as Rook decided to go for a more Maurice93-like approach. And now there is no queen out on k5, so it isn't checkmate. I11, interesting. Ooh, I think we like I11. Yeah, I think we do. Because now it's not so easy if you go L7. In fact, it could just be self-mate. Wow, interesting that they're all going for a passive looking opening here. Ooh, bishop takes I14, pawn push is serious. Even bishop. Ooh, that would actually be interesting. Yeah, I think you got to trade. Admit that you're going to be down the knight for bishop exchange here. Queen takes bishop. L7. Loading a trade of queens. Then queen M10. Bishop takes check. I think queen M10 is actually good here. They can't trade queens because the rook would take on M11. I think you go for I think you go for queen M10 here. Yeah, yellow just saw the queen M10 was good. Queen M10 now would have been a full queen blunder, as the queen would have been lost after a knight move and a discovered capture. That was a significant misstep, I think, by yellow not playing queen to M10. It's probably the only way for them to save the game now, as red's going to lose a rook here. Knight F12. Bishop take rook. Look out for any sort of mating net, as the bishop on G13 has got 2 squares covered. The red knight gets there, then it's over for blue, but the red knight is just a little too far, accessing B6 is difficult, the queen is defending it, and the rook could defend it if necessary. Knight takes c6 effective. Probably not, it's just awkwardly placed compared to the king. There's a fork coming. Gotta go h11. Or maybe knight f12. Knight f12 is good here. Yep. There you go. Not leaking past 10 seconds here, but they're still down on time. And the rook's getting active. Ooh. And green notices that the knight to k4 is a threat. Ooh, so if yellow has an attack on blue, this could be a swindle. And if pawn takes, oh yeah, the rook could come out and check red. That would be bad. Queen takes knight, queen check. Queen takes knight, queen check, and then you gotta maneuver your knight to different square. I would check with the knight. Maybe not check. Take the pawn, yeah, take the pawn. Hit the queen, and then threaten some sort of mates here. Even bishop takes on c7 could be tried. Then queen takes, and you got a check and maybe a mate. Bishop takes c7. Bishop takes c7. Yeah, and I think Malbury Soap just noticed it. Oh, look out for the mates. Rook could come to G14. I don't think you take there. I think you take the rook and attack the king, queen. I don't like that move. Yeah, I just, oh my goodness. Wait, is that mate? No, oh my goodness. Look out, that might be a checkmate. That might be a checkmate. Oh my goodness. You moved the bishop out of the way and you got a queen check. Queen takes and that's mate. Whoa. Move your bishop to H2. Move your bishop to H2. Queen block. Oh, queen block. Never mind. The queen blocks and there's just no way to. This is just game over. I think green and blue have won this. That's There is no way for red to get out of this one. Some light error spams by GDI, as I think we just about sealed the deal here. MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner18 might be for final qualifiers here. How do you get out of this one, Rook? Queen check and a bishop check. That might actually be just checkmates. You got queen takes. Oh yeah, no, the queen will block that. Ooh. After red moves, probably the king, then blue will move the pawn, b6, or yeah, b6. That's what GDI thinks is going to happen, but the blue could just do a lot of things to stop any threats. Just rook to a8. King. Oh. And one last attack here by yellow. I don't think it'll work though. I think you got the knight coming back to M7 at the absolute worst. Maybe just a king up is good too. That's discovered defense on that knight on N. Yeah. Pawn push. Yeah. Queen G3, and that is GG yo. Is that going to be a flag? No, it's not a flag. And green has to look at the one last thing about to hit him. King to E2. King to E2. Still a check threat here. Who cares? Don't flag. No, you just got rid of the check. The one very last try would have been queen to D4 and then push a pawn and then just recapture the queen immediately if it does a checkmate threat. So they're going to reduce his pieces down to none? Will that work? Will he take the rook instead of the queen? Oh my goodness, what a move. He took the rook instead of the queen. And now rook is just in huge trouble here. This, I think, is supposed to be GG. What a brilliant move. I mean, there's so many winning moves on the board here, but that one was just brilliant. I think this is just over in 3 moves. All GDII can do is prolong the game by sacking his queen, and 300ths of a second left, 3/10. I mean, You got a bishop block here. That's not going to be enough. Yeah, knight takes. And yeah, rook takes check is good. Is GDI going to resign or is he going to continue? Let's see what happens here. He's throwing his knight. Yeah, I call this the immortal loss. And yep, that is just GG. That's mate, and you can do whatever. And congratulations to MalburySoapGoodSoap and Roadrunner18 for winning 3-0 and being the last team to qualify for the World 4-Player Chess Teams Championship in this year. Good games. Thanks for watching.